觉得 RW 是一个蛮强的队伍，他们队伍的核心打法就是中野比较強勢，往下路靠，幫助 ADC 拿到優勢。如果我們打到他們的話，會在中野上面下苦功。
지금 컨디션 상태는 RL때보다 좀 안 좋은 상태인 것 같고요. 또 좋은 상태를 유지하도록 노력하겠습니다.
我觉得小夫这名打野选手打法比较偏马，他是一个武将，如果对上他的话，我只能化身智将才能跟他打。
我觉得老玩家的中单 UP 选手的话，他这个战绩进步了很多，对线上面也是啊，打团能力也是。
我对米这名选手对线的话，说实话压力挺大的，因为他对线的资源都非常出色，但是我也不虚他，希望接下来比赛可以干点来。
最近老玩家的状态都很好，尤其是老玩家的 ADC， 他玩的硬术是很奇怪的那种硬术，而且他打得非常好，所以我们肯定要小心这个 ADC。
林野林是个挺全面的辅助啊，各方面开团保护都挺好的。我觉得我跟他也差不多，我会保护好我们 AD， 打到最好的输出环境。
我感觉他们辅助跟司马配合没我和他好，我希望我在下路能够找到他们配合的失误，然后进行击杀。
Thank you for sticking with us for that 1 hour break in between set 1 and set 2 of the LPL today. We're going over to Hangzhou for our second match, which is going to be LGD taking on Rogue Warriors. LGD recently been looking on form. Rogue Warriors, since their return from Rift Rival, have created a few upsets while dropping a couple of games themselves, but they'll be hungry for more victories to continue with the impressive record they set this year in terms of the wins they've picked up as a new organization and roster. They're going to try and take down LGD at home, who have been struggling for splits on splits, but once again have found a time during the LPL to make a good stride and pick up a couple of wins. They're gearing up for their match, which will take place shortly. That's not the only match that we have here today. For later on tonight, we will return to Shanghai, where we'll have our match of the week being played between Invictus Gaming as well as Edward Gaming. For now, we'll jump into this match ASAP from Hangzhou. See that everyone is getting ready, and we're here at the Shanghai Superbrand Mall Arena to bring you the action. I'm Matthew Fish Stewart. Joining me is Clement Chu. We're going to break down this game shortly, but before we do, let's take a look at how the LPL currently stands. Because after that match we saw earlier, it's a few more upsets here and there, Clement, and it seems to be the trend over the past week.
Yeah, I just never thought that OMG would be the ones taking down BLG 0-2. The trend that we're seeing is the teams from the Western Conference, the lower teams, they are stepping up. We're seeing sizable growth from these teams on the bottom tier of the Western Conference. However, on the Eastern Conference, our supposed stronger conference, things have not really improved in the bottom outside of LGD. LGD has been the only one that has been representing for those bottom three teams.
Jeez, man. LGD is now tied with Suning 4-6 for that 4th playoff spot. Side of OMG, a crucial win for them, because although it is not in their hands as they are one defeat behind TOP as well as FPX, it's a win nonetheless. Puts them a little bit closer to try and contest for a playoff spot themselves, as WE still struggle, sitting at 2-9 on the bottom of the table. We're still almost halfway through cross-conference with about a week and a few days left of play before we return into intra-conference play to decide who is going to head as the top 4 from each conference into the playoffs. But let's get into the second match that we have today. LGD is going to be taking on Rogue Warriors. And I know that you really want to look into LGD first, because they've been on an impressive winning streak recently after a terrible start to the summer split.
We always call LGD the sleeping dragon. They've been asleep since 2015 after that massive collapse at Worlds. And the question now is, are they still comatose, or are they starting to wake up? Because LGD currently is on a 3-game winning streak over OMG, TOP, and WE. And sure, you might look at those teams and say they're the bottom teams in the West, but we haven't seen such impressive play from LGD for quite a long time. And I think it's time that we really look into this team and try to analyze, are they actually moving forward, or is this just a flash in the pan?
You see, you say that, but we say this every single damn split about LGD, where, okay, they're asleep, they've had a horrible start. Suddenly they pick up 2 to 3 wins and everyone's like, oh, the LGD hype train, it's alive once again. But now they're playing against Rogue Warriors. This is the team that is on the top of their game and top of the table right now. You think this is their time to solidify? They're actually looking good again?
Yeah, I actually have a good feeling that LGD might take this game today. And I'm a little bit queasy inside. I know hopping on the LGD hype train isn't always an easy thing to do. And if you look at the past, they've only gone to 3 win streaks. They're in Spring Split, they've won 6 series total, and they have been 3-3. They've never found the magical 4, but I think they could do it because they have shown sizable improvements overall. I feel like Yuki, their player in the mid lane, is a star that they need for the future, and it's someone that we really have to keep a very close attention to.
Because Yuki does have very high win rates on certain champions he picks up with LGD, but when he doesn't get those picks, it does drop off drastically. So do you think he can still perform if Rogue Warriors manage to take away his signature picks or ban it out against LGD, or is he just basically a one-trick in the LPL?
I wouldn't call that a one-trick, because those are 3 champions right there, and they're very difficult to ban out in this day and age when you also have to take care of someone like Jinu, who has the Aatrox in his pocket, or the counter picks for the top lane. But overall, his style has been finding a lot of success, and I think it's about letting him go on the map and creating that chaos all over the place. LGD are such a strong team fighting composition when they have those team fights that seem to come out of nowhere. And you can see in this team fight, WE do find a very good engage. It looks like a good start. It looks like they're going to finish the fight. But Yuki finds a triple man knockup on the backline and is able to clean everything up. He is their main player these days, and they're setting around him very well. Y4 particularly is going straight APs into the mid lane, going for the Oriannas and going for the Victors as well to complement the AD assassin that this guy can bring out. Aurelia especially is something you want to note for Yuki. He has 12.8 KDA on that champion, 80% win rate. It's going to be one of those that has to enter the ban list.
Every time he's picked it up, he has looked impressive when he gets the champion, but my biggest concerns for LGD has been that the entire year, not just Summer Split, but Spring Split as well, they've been experimenting with their roster. Different players have had up and down performances, and now, yes, Yuki as well as Jinu, the 2 newest players, besides Y4, the newer players to the roster, are looking much better, much more consistent. But it's been a band-aid solution all the way till now. So 3 games in, this has to be the roster that's solidified. They have to start performing, because if not, it's going to be the same old story for LG that we tell every single split.
I'm not that worried about their roster, to be honest. They did bring in Regank, a new Korean jungler, for Amy in one of their series, but after that, Amy held onto the starting position, and he looked so much better. It's about putting a fire underneath some parts of your starter. And the problem about Amy in the previous splits was always his communication with the team seemed a little bit off. He seemed to be in the wrong places at the wrong times. But this time around, he's actually been the main initiator for LGD, and they've been taking very smart fights, setting up those control wards around River, allowing those skirmishes, and snowballing Yuki.
Bringing in Y4 as well has been an addition and a boost to the LGD roster, working with PYL in the bot lane. Their opponents today are no pushovers, however, as it is the Rogue Warriors, one of the 4 teams that the LPL sent to Rift Rivals. Started Spring Split incredibly strong, Summer Split equally as strong so far, sticking with the same 5 players they're playing with the entire year. They are all about consistency, and that's what they plan to bring here today to LGD.
Well, I'm not sure about consistency because they've had a pretty rocky set right here, but first let's jump into LGD's roster. Jinu, Amy, Yuki, Y4, PYL. No regank today. It's going to be your Chinese jungler in Amy.
Yep, Amy will be playing for LGD. He's been stepping up this split and has played well for most of the year. Up and down performances aside, this roster of LGD has had 3 back-to-back impressive games, and a win over Rogue Warriors will be crucial to them. Rogue Warriors roster is going to be Mouse, Flawless, Doinby, SMLZ, as well as Kalua.
Rogue Warriors currently sitting at the highest win rate team of the entirety of the LPL at that #1 spot, but their wins really have not came easy. They did win over RNG, and BLG recently, but those games did come down to either Baron steals or complete teamfight sweeps in that Baron pit itself. So Rogue Warriors, you know, they're having a bit of a trouble in the middle game, but still closing out strong.
They've shown that they're one of the best team fighting teams in the LPL, something that LGD would need to dissect as they go into this best-of-3 series. It's an important match for LGD. So a win here against one of the top teams from the opposite conference could be enough to upset the score between them and Suning and potentially clinch a playoff position.
We can see the 8.13 win rate between both teams, 66.7% at LGD, a stat that a lot of people would not associate with this team that has been having so many troubles over the years so far.
Higher win rate when it goes up against the Rogue Warriors, so looking good so far for LGD.
Key stat, of course, is the 15-minute gold stat. Rogue Warriors, like we said, finding a lot of troubles in their mid to early games. People have been banning out the Bruisers from Doinby, 11 straight bans on that Kled pick so far. So they're having trouble synergizing that Bruiser win mid lane and the jungle to snowball early. They're actually falling behind quite often, but they still bring it back with the big rundown team fights. Things like Ryze that can catch up to people, things like Tom Kench that can instantly send people into the back lines is what they're known for.
So is that something that LGD can try and take advantage of? Try and attack Rogue Warriors during the early game? Is that where LGD are strong in this set?
I definitely think so. It might not seem like a familiar concept, but LGD this split have been doing incredibly well in their mid and jungle. And I think what LGD needs to do to win this series is keep Rogue Warriors off balance the entire time. If Rogue Warriors can set up a team fight where they rush at you with superior numbers, then those are going to go to Rogue Warriors. But if LGD can keep the map spread out, keep small pockets of chaos all the while, then LGD should have this series.
So how do Rogue Warriors stop LGD from actually splitting them apart? Because we've seen time and time again, if Rogue Warriors can find a team fight that they want to start, they will most of the time actually take the team fight and take a win off the back of it. How do they make sure that LGD are grouped up and not splitting them apart on the map?
I think a lot of it does come down to the top lane matchup. We're talking about Jinnu, who just brought in Quinn as the new champion into the top lane. Counters out the Kennen, counters out the Gnar, especially well as well. So I think if they want to keep a grouped up team fight and play the 5v5s, the things that they have to look for is hold on close to the early game, make sure Yuki doesn't get so fed that he can go to a side lane, and make sure Jinnu can't do the same thing against the mass matchup, who's traditionally known as more of a tank and pressure absorbing player.
Because now the two solo lanes for LGD are legitimate concerns. And if you look towards the bottom lane, they've always had Imp and PYL previously, which used to be a big concern whenever you went up against LGD. Now it's Y4 and PYL, which at the moment looks even more deadly than their previous iteration of bottom lane rosters.
Yeah, definitely. Y4 has been the one that's been doing incredibly well. He used to be a Draven player, but this split, he's brought out the Orianna, brought out the Victor as well in the bot lane. Really has a lot of level 6 kill potential if Amy comes down as well.
Good innovation from LGD, and they said that they always have some picks up their sleeve when they go up against specific matchups. Rogue Warriors should be one of them, but before we get into the game, let's hear from Rogue Warriors support Killua.
我觉得老干爹是比较喜欢打架的队伍，然后前期冲劲很有冲劲，我们只要不要失误，不要被他们抓到，就很好拿下比赛。
As humble as ever. Welcome back, guys. We're on a Casa Desk now. We've changed places. My name's Paul. This is Rusty. We're here for our first series of the day, moving into our second. Now, I know that was kind of a softball coming out there from Clement, you know, who was like, yeah, you know, I think that like LGD will win. This is him saying LGD will win today. LGD will not win today. I'm adamant that Rogue Warriors will be winning today, and we bet coffee over it. It was a 2-to-1 ratio. I bet 10. So thank you for coffee for the rest of the year, Clement. I'll be taking that one home.
I will say, in Clement's defense, I think stylistically, this is the type of game where LGD can win. If you actually look at what LGD have been doing well so far on Summoner's Rift and the recency in performance from Rogue Warriors, LGD wins the first 15 minutes of the game. They get all of the outer turrets down, they make a Rift Herald play somewhere, and whilst that strategy is predictable, it doesn't necessarily mean there is counterplay in the predictability of it. Rogue Warriors have been losing a lot of their early games and making plays around the Baron, but that's after 20 minutes in the game. So there is a real possibility that LGD, if nothing else, can take a single map from Rogue Warriors. So the possibility is there.
But the series wins don't lie. And that's what Rogue Warriors get. That is what they get, and you can see that on the score, that's all I'm saying. LGD on their side, though, they will ban away the Kled, the Mundo, and the Nocturne. First to pick the Orianna, which I like a lot. Y4's Orianna has been exceptional recently, as he was one of the pioneers to bring that one into the LPL. Rogue Warriors will take away the Aatrox, of course, on red side, followed by the Camille and the Gragas, and look to prioritize the Talia here for Flawless.
Yeah, now with the Orianna prioritized by the side of LGD, Rogue Warriors get a free choice of the Talia. That is a surprise to say the least, that LGD put that much of a priority on the Orianna over the Talia. Maybe it's Amy with confidence, but I think he's been playing perfectly fine even on any pick, any style lately. He's been just a good jungler. With the Talia locked in though, and with the choice of the Orianna being conscious, I wonder where LGD will go for their jungle position. And if it's something that is more of a duelist to take him on, of course Camille is gone, so that's one of the duelists gone. We'll have to find out.
Indeed. We'll have the Rakan pick up though over to Kahlua in the bottom lane. On the opposite side, Tamkench comes through from LGD. We're gonna get ourselves, I should say, another talent. Got Smiles on the side of LGD. Talent always a fun one to bring out, even though we've almost seen it 20 times now.
This hover is a possibility that we have
seen in Europe.
We've seen some Wukongs running around. Doinby is always the innovator, ever the innovator when it comes to new picks in the mid lane. He has seen the talent. He knows that it is going to be a smite as well, so we'll have to see. And speaking of innovations, he's just switched to Renekton.
Okay, alright, let's do it.
Switched to Smite at the same time, so maybe it's his champion.
Classic Doinby. Now, Renekton has actually been picked up a couple times so far in the LPL Summer Split. 3 times, I believe. This will be Renekton's 4th game, and he didn't win any of those games so far. So,
yeah, not having a great time on the Rift is the old Renekton. Now, Renekton it's usually picked by the losing sides in general in terms of like the team favor or chance of winning, just the worst team in the set. So this is an opportunity now for Renekton to get a bit of extra percentage there on that win rate, maybe on the favorite side.
And I will just have to see where it's going up. Just the fact that we have Doinby on this team makes me want to say that it will be a Bruiser moving into the mid lane here and should be facing down the Talon. And of course, we'll just blast him toe to toe. The Talon tries to jump on him, Renekton will destroy him.
There's a couple of things here that are super interesting to me through the first picks of the draft. And the TLDR of all of it is that both teams have picked for themselves more than they have just taken away from their opponent. So with an Orianna locked in first, that enables the talent. That's exactly where LGD want to be in terms of drafting. For Rogue Warriors, the early pick of the Talia and the engage tool for Kahlua means that Doinby can be a bruiser. So he can actually be that Renekton if he chooses for the matchup. And, you know, we've seen some possibilities here for Rogue Warriors in their mid lane to play any kind of bruisers when available, and I think they're actively available now.
Yeah, so Juani and Java will be the band out there towards Amy, and it will be a Karthus ban, of course, onto SMLZ as well as the Xayah. But we've left a lot open for the AD carry down there because he has Swain in his back pocket. He even has Kai'Sa if he wants it. You know, there's like so many picks that SMLZ can pick up anyways. And it seems like he's probably going to settle on the Swain at the end of the day anyways.
I like the Karthus and I like the Xayah bans. The Xayah necessity, I would say, with the Rakan already secured for Kahlua. So they get rid of the duo. No lovers to be seen in the bottom lane. They give themselves the opportunity to counter if they would choose an AD carry for the bottom lane, but it's going to be the Orianna regardless. So LGD, they know their hand, they're banning things that beat them. I think it's just overall very sound drafting so far from both teams.
Indeed. This one would cap it off. Anyway, Trundle has been picked up by LGD right here, expecting that one to probably go into the jungle for LGD. And we are looking for probably a top laner. Yeah, that would work. Kennen comes in for Jinnu. On the opposite side, RW. I wanted to say on the opposite side of Renekton because I looked at Renekton, but Rogue Warriors are looking towards their top laner as well.
And I mean, if this is locked in, we don't know where the Gangplank or the Renekton are going until 20 seconds on the timer, because Gangplank has also been capable of going into that middle lane. Now, it wouldn't win against the Talon, is what I would say. So Renekton makes a lot more sense being in the middle lane. Mouse is just going to cough it out, lock himself in a Gangplank in that top lane into the Kennen. So a conscious choice here from Rogue Warriors with that Gangplank in the top lane.
Alright.
Kennen has a lot of control in 1v1s as it stands, and they've picked themselves some scaling damage up there, and that's what I like the most. Their composition did need a bit of extra scaling.
Yeah, because you got a Renekton. Exactly, because you got a Renekton in the mid lane. It's just like, while he's good in the laning phase, he's also great as you hit mid game when you hit the 2-item power spike. In the very similar vein as Kled, you hit late game and you're like, well, you're either a charge bot or you're a stun bot, and you sit in the front lines and you're just very annoying because he does a lot of damage over time with Dominus. It's basically like getting a free Sunfire cape, but you know, in terms of his actual duelist potential, it plummets.
Yeah, now the risk with the composition that Rogue Warriors have compiled for themselves as the coaches shake hands and discuss is that Rogue Warriors engage tools aren't black and white. They're not that simple. It's going to have to be a Swain pull in, or a Renekton stun, or a Rakan engage. And the bottom lane is the place that I'll be looking at for Rogue Warriors. Between a Swain and a Rakan, they have the tools in their tool shed to try and get some teamfight engages off successfully. With the early game leads and pressure that LGD have been forging for themselves, a lot of it revolves around the bottom lane. So if things go LGD's way, the engage tools of Rogue Warriors are fragile. They run the risk of dying instantly in their attempts to engage. LGD will be able to smash them with all of the damage their composition has.
Exactly. On the opposite side, though, you're looking at some, again, innovation coming out of the side of Rogue Warriors. Now, of course, we always expect this to happen with Rogue Warriors, like to bring bruisers into that mid lane, depending on the meta. And also, this one is actually very palatable, you know, given there have been a lot of picks nowadays picked into the Talon as a potential answer, as Talon has been coming in very much as a priority pick with the Smite. And we've also seen the Rumble play into it. We've now seen Renekton play into it.
Yes. So the first thing we'll have to explore with this Renekton is if he kept Smite. That's a big thing to me. If he kept Smite, then he's going to be doing like the Rumble approach, where he's just going to match his opponent, but be able to sustain better through the lane pressure that he has. Both Rumble and Renekton do not have mana costs. They do not have any cost in that way of resources, and they only sustain themselves through it. So it could be a big positive for Doinb. In saying that, Rumble has a shield, so he has the ability to absorb pressure. Renekton, if he wants to heal, needs to be in melee range, and that's usually crit range for a Talon.
True.
So we'll have to see how this one plays out. I think it's a very delicate 1v1 as it pans through, and that's why it's not just the 1v1. It's the compositions that come into play here. It's Talia, can she make big plays happen? Can Flawless work with Doinb in harmony to get the picks going? Or will Amy be able to work with Yuki, the upstart star of the team for LGD, to make the 2v2 skirmishes happen?
I do actually think, though, if he does end up taking Smite, that he'll get so much health back from the Raptors, because he'll be able to A, Smite, and B, use the Call the Meek on the Raptors themselves, and when he hits 6, he's basically burst immune, because he's a Renekton.
I was thinking about that. We'll have to see how it happens when we are onto the Rift, of course, and we'll watch Doinb closely.
This is a microcaster's dream, and luckily you've got 2 of them in this game, so let's go ahead and see how this one shakes out. Moving over to Hangzhou, let's see what the crowd's made of, shall we?
There are some lungs. Those are some big lungs.
Of course, that is Doinb's girlfriend. He's just saw it pan. Also to Doinb. Follows him around on, of course, the tour that Rogue Warriors has been going on recently to different venues.
Is that Renekton? I've never seen that.
No. I think it is, yeah, it's a Chroma.
There you go, he's got a Chroma for Renekton. That's cool.
That
skin is actually cool. Now, he kept the Smite, and the reason that I wanted to highlight this as well is that he's not going to have any of his Rage Bar stacked up. He's not going to be an angry man by any means. Now, that's important because it's bonus damage and bonus healing. So if you're going to start the Raptor camp, you're going to have Q at level 1. That is a high cooldown spell for the most part, level 1. And it's not going to heal for a significant amount. So we'll see if he does the full clear and go to lane. I would expect he does. But he may miss minions by doing that, where Talon does not miss a minion. He is just a very fast clearer. Look at the difference already.
Getting that. Amy on his side will be able to clear up this red buff. Now we actually take a look at the runes here. Of course, everyone's interested in the old Renekton in the mid lane. Picking up press the attack. Very easy for him to access that with an auto attack into Ruthless Predator, his W.
Yeah.
The old double swipe. I will also say that in the top lane, Ginny has gone towards the press the attack as well. Now we've seen a lot of AP cannons recently, but it looks like it will be an AD one.
Yeah, with press the attack, usually that does indicate a D. As bottom lane is going to trade. That's a lot of damage,
Oh, yeah, they're actually committing to this one. If you get in range for the Devour, but not going to happen. It's gonna, oh, Y4! Flash underneath the tower, but Kahlua gets the return kill! And it will be first blood over to Rogue Warriors.
Y4 flashes to try and secure a kill when SMLZ had a flash of his own. Y4 does, of course, have the teleport. But the first blood was just readily gifted over to their opponents here. Kahlua's just going to snatch that one up and feel real good for himself. That's a tragic start for the 2v2 of LGD, to say the least.
I'll be honest, a rare misplay, actually, as we have a pause coming in. Maybe something weird happened with that bottom lane. Perhaps, you know, his keyboard accidentally flashed forwards underneath the tower. I don't know, but what I'm
It looks like Doinb right now.
Yeah, is that for Y4, very rarely makes these mistakes. The guy has been exceptionally strong, especially on his Orianna. I remember he's picked that up for the first time just a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, this guy's pretty legit. Since then, we've had many marksmen follow suit in the bottom lane.
Now, that was a team error, I actually think, from LGD. Namely, yes, Y4 makes the big error. So what happened in that trade that makes it a big mistake is that he forgets the turret aggro, the damage exchanges to the different person. So if the turret has ramped up in its damage, which it did against the Tahm Kench, switched to the Orianna, he effectively got one hit by that turret and an auto attack from Kahlua. McHugh was timed with the turret's damage, so it did look like a lot more than it was, but a level 1 Orianna flashing forwards to throw a Q, maybe expecting SMLZ to disrespect him and not be ready to flash to safety, but he flashed instantly and they just get themselves the kill. The mistake from Y4 is forgetting that the turret's damage is already ramped up, and that damage stays when changing targets.
Those are fan signs. Yeah, I mean, like, there's 2 rules in League of Legends. The first one is, you know, don't chase Cinch. The second one is don't challenge SMLZ to a mechanics off. Because SMLZ, more often than not, will definitely win, especially in micro situations. If he, like, the guy is just like a living machine. Like, he knows exactly everyone's cooldowns, everyone's like summoner spells. This guy will not miss a beat. So if you actually face him in a 1 versus 1 or a 2 versus 2, he will destroy you.
He's got the mechanics to do it regardless of the timings on the cooldowns as well. SMLZ just that good of a player. Of course, we are still in that pause currently. It did look like a Doinby issue as the referee immediately went over towards him. We'll let you know when we've got information on that. So far, though, we've been watching him play Renekton into the Talon, which is a... Yeah, Renekton into the Talon. Very interesting lane so far, and you know, we spoke about his ability to clear the Raptors and maybe a Talon does it faster, and he did. But what Renekton did do is come to lane and have that red bar ready to go, and there's no chance for a Talon to trade with him. And so far, Doinby's been able to control that 1v1 quite well.
Yeah, by going to Raptors, it gives an opportunity to build up Fury as well.
That's the one.
That's a big deal. The more we think about this matchup, the more it makes a lot of sense.
It's very hard to kill a Renekton as Talon even at level 6, even with a lead, because he can press R and diffuse a lot of that initial burst damage, and then he's got 2 dashes and a stun to stop you, as well as a heal on the Q. So when you actually think about this 1v1, there is not a lot of ways that a Talon can beat you at all. It's more that a Talon can leave lane better than you, that a Talon can burst out squishies more effectively than you, and is much more mobile when it comes to teamfight utility, where Renekton has to just be a bruiser in the front line, and he drops off in terms of damage. So that's where the contrast really is going to be, and that's what we'll have to explore here from the side of LGD. Can they free the Talon in his lane?
Hashtag free the Talon. Yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, for now, Renekton I actually think is an exceptional pick at keeping him in lane, because not only does he like to itemize the Tiamat naturally, because it works exceptionally with his W, so he will like to do that early, he'll be able to match the wave clear, and he also does a pretty sizable amount of damage versus turrets as well. So it's like, if you want to leave lane, then okay, I'll just like keep on hitting the mid lane turret. So it makes it very difficult for... He's essentially an unmovable object in the mid lane. It's like, even if 2 people come to his lane, it's got to happen pre-6. I was trying to figure out that sign said Blimey. Now, I think Blimey is only a thing that you can say in the UK and Australia, but if they did, then respect.
And we don't even say it in Australia, we just know it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, Blimey.
Blimey is a very British word.
Yeah, it's a good one.
We have crikey.
Oh yeah, crikey.
Significantly better word.
Crikey. Yeah, I was trying to educate Dom the other day on how to say, because we've been playing different games recently. We've been playing a game called Xenoblade Chronicles. Now, there's a character who says, "A lot, your attitude." A lot.
That was not even English.
No, it actually was English. So all the characters in Xenoblade have different regional accents. And that one's definitely a British one. And you're saying, does anyone from the UK actually use that accent? I was like, yeah, they do, absolutely. Now, we were talking to a guy who is Australian, and he could also, because he's part of the Commonwealth, copy the same accent. But Dom is an American.
He can't do it.
He just was unable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the difference.
I still don't know what you said.
I like your attitude.
Oh.
But you basically mangle it, so you miss out a couple of letters, and it ends up being like, I like your attitude, you know, so...
Yeah, no, I got it better that time. Yeah. There you go. Interesting.
Yeah.
Americans and accents.
Yeah.
They can do American accents well.
I mean, I can't speak American either, so...
I can't speak English. I speak Australian.
It's true.
I'm sorry, they're vastly different things.
Yeah. I will say, over time as a commentator, my voice has changed significantly. Because coming from the UK, it was just, you know, very British. Then I worked with a lot of Americans, and I moved to Australia for a year.
Yeah.
And now I've got a little bit of Australian in me. So
that's a bad thing. Australians just by default sound more drunk. You know, when I was in Xi'an, I was speaking to someone there who works on the video team. He's Chinese, and he was like, I can't understand Australians. And he didn't realize that I was Australian the entire time because I just don't speak like all of them anymore. Yeah. but after a single cold one, you better believe I just devolve.
Oh yeah, of
immediately.
Course. Well, that's the other thing, right? Is like when you meet another Australian, you both just get like more Australian. You know what I mean?
Bad.
Like, because that like the lore is just like energy can come from you know, has to like exist. It can't come from nothing. But when like two British people or two Australians meet each other, they actually become more British and more Australian. It's a well-known fact.
It is. It's like doing the fusion dance from Dragon Ball Z. We
Exactly.
become a hybrid. Both of our accents are completely gone, and we become only the Australian part.
Hey, we're back into game. Seems like all the issues have been resolved, and of course, bot lane's fighting again.
Yeah, Y4 teleported back after what happened tragically to him at level 1. Now Flawless, knowing that there's no flash from the Orianna, may try and make an attempt here. PYL is the MVP.
Whoa.
He has got flash, he's got consume.
Jump in, looking for the double knockup, doesn't find either. Y4 still coming back to the tower. Flawless still throwing out the pebbles, but that was a good amount of damage onto the bot lane of LGD. I like that. Oh, I like that more. SMLZ prepared with the Tam Kensha mode.
That was job done there from Rogue Warriors. SMLZ, I believe he was the man that revolutionized the white flag when games were ending as well. Here in the LPL, we can use emotes all the time, and we do. All of the AD carries have started an emote coup here. They're just going to use them at every possibility.
Yeah, I'm just shocked by the fact that on his wheel, he prepared for the eventuality of having the Tam Kench right there. Like, that's impressive.
Picked for the meta in terms of his emotes. I like it. There's some zest in there from SMLZ. But look forward to the white flag for those of you at home, of course, watching. As
the white flag. Does he run the thumbs up? Who runs the thumbs up? That's iBoy, right?
iBoy also has white flag. I mean, there's 4. So everyone has the thumbs up by default.
Yeah. You can take the thumbs up off there, I think.
You can.
Yeah. Well, Amy in his way to the bot lane will clear out this ward after he sees it.
And again, no summoners from Clue or SMLZ. So ultimately, both junglers would be gravitating around this side of the map. If you watch the recent Vici set, you would acknowledge that they were just hard ganking. In this one, they are choosing to just clear wards, have pressure, and maybe look at opportunities instead. And speaking of opportunities,
Flawless in the top lane, looking towards Jinnu, throws out the pebbles. Looking for the flick, finds it, but had already thrown the unraveled earth there.
Yeah, used the E to slow him down at the start, and of course throws out the Q knowing he was going to get stunned. The flick was an afterthought there ultimately, and you can tell that Jinnu has to navigate his way around knowing that the flick exists, but chooses not to flash it, because of course everything was used from the get-go there by Flawless. Very aggressive start here coming out of the jungler of Rogue Warriors. Acknowledging full well that summoner spells have been burnt and he's got opportunities to get around the rift, and that he clears the jungle faster than that of a Trundle. So he's always got these chances.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, so far Amy has not been able to track down his counterpart All Flawless in the jungle, who will be probably looking for a recall post-haste after these Krugs. Now, Zoinb has been tracked by the old Trundle right here. Now, he was just taking the crab himself, and has indeed taken that smite, of course. So he will move back towards his mid lane now. It's actually ahead in terms of farm. Will be even further ahead when this wave resolves.
Yeah, and clears the wave super quickly as well once that Tiamat comes online. So you'll start to see more and more wave clear. We'll actually see what item build he chooses to go towards, because speaking of Tiamats, Yuki has one, and now he can instantly clear the waves. He's about to be spotted, but he's already top lane. Might be too late.
Yeah, the ultimate has already been used by Jinnu. Pops over the wall, and hello, Mouse, how you going today? Pops the ultimate and throws the Q. Such an easy kill for him to pick up in the top lane. Just saw his stats as well. He's actually second in solo kills so far, this split old Yuki in the mid lane.
Yeah, he's doing very well for himself, Yuki, so far. And that was an outstanding roam coming from him. By the time they had noticed, it was already too late. LGD, in what is potentially a 2v4 scenario, are stepping up to clear the wave. They've got all the disrespect in the world. Of course, they've got a control ward in the tri-bush, so they're just going to play aggressively until someone is spotted there. In the meanwhile, LGD, they make that proactive play top lane. They give a kill into the pockets of Yuki, and they do set this talent up to succeed.
I think so too. Amy is still in this jungle. Now, he is definitely getting outpaced because Flawless is almost level 6. He's level 4. So unless they can instantly take this red buff away. Of course, he's trying to ambush Flawless in the jungle, but I mean, Zoinb is always going to have to push him mid lane.
Zoinb also has the red buff, so Talon in a melee matchup against the red buff may not really want to do all of the trading. And for Flawless to have a lead in the jungle whilst Zoinb is taking everything that is on his side of the map, not invading the other side besides the red, that's very impressive from Flawless, considering all the ganks he's done as well.
Going to clear out this ward on the bottom side. That's going to protect them, but may set up for pressure underneath this house as wave crashes. Probably not. It's only caster minions, but that was a nice vision of Empire coming in there from SPLC.
It actually is very good that he's got it ready every time damage connects on a PYL. There is a mental battle behind emotes for certain. Yeah. A white flag when you're winning the game, I personally think is BM, but it's the kind of BM that I like. I'll nod my respect to it as it's snowing on the rift.
Whoa! You know, people said that we didn't have the winter map, but we have it in the LPL.
My God, Elsa's here.
Whoop. Here comes the wall. Throws out the pebbles, and Jinnu is very slowly walking away, but he's so slowed down right now. He's about to get parlayed.
He has no flash, he's dead.
He goes over to Flawless, yeah.
And they didn't even kill the mouse. Oh, actually mid lane. Kalua's nearby as well. Tom Kenshin.
Ooh, hello. Yeah, double knock up there from Kalua as he jumps back to Doinby. It's very difficult to go. Hasn't even popped the Dominus right here, so he's just wasting all this time from LGD.
It's a good little look in though from LGD, and I think it's just better from Rogue Warriors that Kalua was already there. That he was fully prepared to counter that, because Doinby plays aggressively, and that was the go button. That was the moment where LGD would make the counterplay and take him down, or at least force a summoner spell. And it was during a time where there was no threat of losing damage in the bottom lane on their outer turret. So I still like it from LGD. They are a very proactive early game team, and that was one of those look-ins at that opportunity. End of the day, whilst it doesn't mean anything, it's still the opportunity.
You've done it to me now. You mentioned Elsa, and now every time I look at Talia, I think it's Talia as Elsa. So
she was on the screen when it was snowing. That's all I'm saying.
Yep. Anyway, Kalua's going to head into the enemy jungle, take away this ward. Very nice. Gets the time because of the back time is there, actually, from LGD. SMLZ also managed to pick up a 9-minute Rod of Ages in the mid lane. He found that stun. Follow knockup while he's still stealth. Let him leave. Fail flash into the wall, but follows out of the parkour passive. Amy was there for the counter gag. All right, Yuki. And he gets forced out of lane.
I think he actually flashes just to be in parkour range, so he'll be able to jump over the wall to safety as fast as he possibly can. Flawless.
Whoop. I appreciate the look in there. Yeah, I retract my statement. That was a setup flash, as you said, for the parkour.
Excellently does get himself out alive. We're also at 10 minutes in this game now, so stopwatches are activatable. As the dive threat becomes much more real, and that's why you've seen a lot more early aggression coming out of both of these teams. The second it ticks over to 8 minutes, when you can activate that stopwatch, they started going towards mid lane pressuring as Amy and Doinby. I mean, Doinby's got a 3-level lead. You're actually dreaming if you think you can take him on. He's just there for the vision.
Yep.
That's a big Renekton.
Yeah, it's a thick Renekton. Oh, the bottom lane. Every time I think something's going to happen, I then realize that Tam Kench is there to save the day every single time. But you're right, 130 farm at not even 11 minutes here. This Renekton could actually probably walk up into Amy and you can stop them from taking the Herald if you knew it was happening.
Yeah, if you knew it was being done right now. Flawless is also top side, so there's a chance they come over. He's about to have the Weaver's wall up as well. He may just go top again, to be fair. Jinnu's about 10 seconds off having his flash up, so we'll see.
This is slowly being taken by the Trundle.
No one's checking the Herald.
No, they are not.
I mean, Doinby's got his own prerogative. Look at him go. Get all the minions.
Do you want to build a snow wall? Oh, Jinnu on the backside of this. This is almost identical to the last gank. Mouse is going to chase him down once again. It will be another parlay, but it's not going to be enough damage here. Plus Jinnu has the ultimate. Yuki rotating him from the mid lane. Instant teleport coming through, but it finds the burst damage against Mouse. He'll go into the perfect timing and be good to go as the teleport is cancelled right there, but a lot of people find themselves in top lane for the party.
Yeah, that was SMLZ's teleport that gets cancelled. Amy is able to come over and thankfully get himself the Eye of the Herald as well. He didn't forget about it as he quickly rotated to top lane, but during all of this time, they get mid. Can they get out after?
Oh, that's the question, because 3 people are here. Pops the Dominus, and Doinby instantly goes into the fray here. Knocks up, looks for the kill. Falling through onto Yuki, flash forwards, gets that one. That's a 2 versus 2. Let's go, lads. PYL goes into the Grey Health, and Amy follows through with the damage. Kalua looking for a way out, but his jungler's here to save him.
I actually think that was a millisecond away from Doinby getting his Q off, and that was empowered as well. So that could have been potentially surviving or even kills after the fact. And Rogue Warriors, they get the mid lane turret. LGD try and trade on them, but they just turn and burn their opponents instead, killing Yuki in the process. And whilst Jinnu does get a turret in the top lane, it's late.
It is late, yeah. Tempo definitely going to RW right here, but there's still a Herald. And it's just instant decision making. It's alright, let's fight.
There gets in. Of course, the challenging smite is there, so they'll be able to burn him down. Doinb flashes. And with the cooldown on that Q, he's got to be close to having that up right now. I feel like he had it during that stun.
Yeah.
Just from having lost to a lot of Renekton's in my life.
Yeah. You get them low health and it's like, I've got him. It's like playing into Darius and it's like, and they've got like, you know, 20% of their health back. I guess I die. Clear from the bottom side of mid. Look, never finds it. Doinb. Thinking about the follow-up right there, but didn't have the slice nor dice.
Yuki does also waste that wall, parkours his way over, doesn't want to run the risk, it seems, of Doinb getting onto him and latching onto him for some damage, but means the wall is no longer available to be jumped around. A repeat gank could be possible.
It's true. Yeah, it's definitely messing with my mind watching a cannon attack so quickly, since I've seen so many AP cannons recently. So yeah, is going towards that Blade of the Rune King as his first item. Just bonks Dragon with the ward. We'll just bounce off him.
I mean, this particular cannon could do as he wishes, AP or AD. He's just picked the cannon for laners, PYL.
2 versus 3. Flawless is helping out Doinb right now, who's actually doing okay by himself. Okay, not anymore. Amy over the wall will finish that one off, and Jinu is in for the play, and a Y4 came up from bot lane. So,
and he puts the top
and he throws up the top
yes, PYL knows. Rift Herald also summoned. Big plays from LGD now. They get the kill and looking for more.
Oh, here goes Kahlua. He finds a multi-man charm right here. In comes SMLZ from the bottom side. He's charging up. He's got multi-stacks. Finds 3 with it and follows up the Force Lightning. That's a triple over to Rogue Warriors. We're going to build another wall right here. And Y4 on the retreat, but he pulls someone towards him. Flick over the wall. What a lead, Flawless. Kahlua follows up. Visions of Empire. Visions of an ace. Rogue Warriors.
Rogue Warriors just smashed them in the follow-up to that team fight. LGD kick it off strong. They make the plays, but then they overextend themselves looking for too much. At the exact same time, Rogue Warriors coming forwards, acknowledging that no Doinb, no problem for our team fighting capabilities. SMLZ goes huge, and they're able to get themselves a successful fight.
Yeah, it was more than just a successful fight. That was a shellacking right there. That was all 5 members down from LGD, and that was them making the play. We were like, good stuff. Throws up the emote, throws down Shelly, takes down mid lane, and that flank from SMLZ, let me tell you.
It's Kahlua that starts it also, hitting multiple people. The Devourer is now gone, so that's SMLZ's entryway into this. Already has the 5 stacks there. It's a hard thing to get those stacks up, but when you've got them, the ultimate's got so much utility and damage available to it, and that's what he uses it for. Strictly the damage to be seen as Doinb will be able to get himself a turret on the backside.
That's got to feel real good. Now, a lot of that damage was set up by Flawless on the front end, but the back end was definitely all SMLZ. Yuki got his burst down, you know, Y4 was able to do a little bit as he was retreating, but take a look at Jinu. Jinu really uses ultimate, didn't even really use anything. He dealt 76 damage in that fight.
They're not able to contribute a single thing, and that's one of those moments where you're going to be team fighting against Rogue Warriors, and maybe AP would be a better choice. Of course, when you commit yourself to AD, it's about sustaining through that 1v1 and dueling a bit better in the top lane. And then in team fights, you're going to be protecting your team more than you are flanking, unless the flank is to assassinate someone. But that's a Talon's job, so this is one of those moments for LGD where I personally believe their team composition would be much better with an AP cannon, but I can totally understand why you would do the other.
I mean, at the same time, laning phase went very well for him. He was actually, not too long ago, 40 farm over Mouse, in fact, in the top lane. Now, of course, this is the Klepto GP who's gotten involved in fights, got a kill, 3 assists, and has the Triforce around 15 minutes plus boots. So he's doing very well for himself anyway. He's probably about equal farm to Jinu, if not more right now. But you can definitely see the theory, because it should work into this matchup. But Mouse is now feeling very competent, and Rogue Warriors are playing towards top side of map anyway.
You're looking to hit the Talia ultimates, maybe start some plays off that way through map control. But when you look at the 1v1, now I'm not surprised that there's a CS lead and early advantages to be forged by Jinu as the cannon into GP. But once you've got a Trinity Force, and particularly once you hit level 13 for the Gangplank, a big breakpoint on your keg cooldown, it's very difficult to be a cannon into that. You have to be able to beat the keg play. If you don't beat the keg play, you just lose the trade because you're fragile.
Yep. Get hit by it. Oh, Kahlua knows there's someone there, and it's a trundle-shaped person. He'll get the knock-up and jump back towards Flawless, take away the blast cone right there. Mouse, there you go, managed to beat him out on that one, but still he's hitting the tower. SMLZ's the one pressuring. 4 members around top side, and Doinb about to gank his own lane.
Of course, he's going to be rotating between mid and bottom, most likely. The rest of Rogue Warriors situated on the top side of the map. If Doinb chooses to stay mid, and rotate towards top, then it's very clear what their strategy and what their plans will become, and that is take the team fight, maybe even threaten the dives.
Oh, calm down, Flawless. Don't let it go today.
It's like my old CRTV boxes, you know. Wrong channel, wrong channel.
What was your solution? Did you kick it? That was generally the solution to like old technology.
Oh, like the bunny ears?
Yeah, you just hit it, or like you bend the antennae.
Nah, I'd bend those bunny ears like Beckham, dude.
Oh yeah.
It's just a delicate art form. Every bunny ear is different. You have to treat them all nicely or mean depending on how they are as bunny ear personalities.
Yeah, sometimes you make some art sculptures.
Wait, are they called bunny ears everywhere, or am I just sounding insane on air? Like the antennas, the metal
I know what
antennas
you're talking about. I don't think they
to...
called that in the UK, but I understood what you were talking about.
Okay.
I think, yeah. It's just, you're speaking Australian.
Not again.
Damn. Always happens. I don't know why. Well, RW, just placing vision around top side of the map. You've got, well, it's not quite triangle vision. It's more like square vision. Like a television. Oh no. And then around the Baron area, so they've got this one set up. About 90 minutes into the game, SMLZ's located himself in the mid lane. Set himself up, forward camp, forward outpost. It's here with Kahlua.
Yep.
And he's just making bank right now. The amount of gold coins I've watched him pick up in the last like 90 seconds is absurd.
He's feeling real good about himself, of course, with the Shirelias from the looks of it. Perhaps going to be his itemization of choice. We'll see where Kahlua goes. Of course, those can go into very different items. They are just tier 1 components. Rogue Warriors now with a 5k lead in control of the area. This is where they can make the plays because they have outright vision control. But there's no Baron up, so it's all about fights.
Visions of wall. Oh, great. Gangplank ultimate coming down. Just so much damage into Y4. He has to walk into the team and die. Yuki stealth, but just to escape. And Doinby, he's chasing after. He actually flashed after that Talon. Doesn't care that he can parkour over the wall. He will find him and he will kill him. He's got that dominance running. Rotates towards the mid lane right now with the rest of the team. Jinnu potentially under attack. PYL also very low. He's not going to be saving anyone today.
Yeah, recall denied there by Rogue Warriors. Swain able to do that. Now Doinby threatening the dive. That's the game plan here. They want the turret, but dives on.
Stunned down, followed through the battle dance. Kahlua with the setup onto Doinby once again, and they're broken the mid lane once again.
And that's just Amy out of position when they were threatening the dive. The threat was not just a threat. They had the answer there. So just a bit of a step too far forwards here from LGD's jungler, and he is made to pay immediately for those sins. And Rogue Warriors, they grow the lead suddenly even further as it goes from 5,000 to 7.
Yeah, and again, I think like going back to what we were talking about in the early game, as we take a look at this replay once more here, as it was once again another fantastic wall into the ultimate setup.
Kahlua kicks it off once the wall is down, and Flawless gets the easiest flicks of his life. Happened afterwards as well in the dive. Someone stuns, Flawless flicks them straight afterwards. 2-0 and 5, having a great game.
Yeah. But we're talking about pre-game is just like, well, how are LGD going to win this game? Because we said it was a maybe on them winning the set. Now, a maybe is better than anything else I've ever heard in LGD's existence against a top 4 team, no less. So it's like, why? Well, are they going to be able to win the early game? Will they be able to snowball into mid-game and then have Rogue Warriors just have to come back? Well, the opposite has happened in this game and series so far, where it seems like Rogue Warriors have found excellent fight rather in the early game, in the mid game, and actually done very well in their own laning phases respectively as well.
And a lot of this to me has been Kahlua. Now, there have been mistakes on the side of LGD that can be noted, namely the level 1 from the bottom lane, but for the most part, their rotations have been sound. You know, they hit the Tahm Kench ult level 6, they go towards mid lane, they try and get that one down, but whilst they try and do that, Kahlua's already there, it's already denied, already disengaged. And a lot of Rogue Warriors' draft in that respect is very good because they survive the early game, they weather the early game storm. Now they come into the mid to later stages when they complete 2 items plus. And it feels like they're completely unstoppable as their composition truly comes online.
A couple walls are thrown out, but Rogue Warriors are just going to tear through this jungle and take literally all of them away right now. Plus, it's 22 minutes into this game, so Baron is very much a very real opportunity for them to go towards.
They would probably need everyone there to hit the Baron to do it very quickly. If there's 2 people missing, they'll never be doing it. It's not going to be a Cassiopeia or a Blade of the Ruined King user in that respect.
But I will say we've hit like double damage breakpoints for like most of Rogue Warriors right now. Like this is a pretty strong, like double items on SMLZ, Doinby, jungle for Flawless. Top lane about to be hitting it as well. He just decides to go over 2 different items.
Yeah, they're obnoxiously far ahead currently when you look at even just the item spikes. The only one that's really holding on for his life right now is... Actually, no, solo laners are still doing okay regarding their farm, but they're a full item behind, particularly in the mid lane. Doinby's now just completed his Sterux, so he's got 3 full items and upgraded boots. That is up there with the biggest Renekas I've ever seen.
Yeah, this guy is an absolute unit, one could say.
A fridge,
no.
one might add.
Nope. Yep, Rogue Warriors again, just sweep through. It feels like LGD, they keep trying to put vision in topside. They've done this like twice while we've still been following RW. And they just walk in and take literally all the... That feels bad for Junior.
There they go. Doinby's going to kick it off with Flawless starting, and it's going to take quite a while given that there was only 2 of them. But they're not going to die. They're very rarely going to lose any health to it. And whether it's a bait or not is yet to be determined as Rogue Warriors. That's a very clear indicator they're completing it.
Yeah, the wall comes up. It's only PY here, but now they're looking to turn and burn with Bounty on top of that. There's a couple low health bars from Rogue Warriors, and here comes the assassin over the wall. Who can he find? SMLZ's low. Pops the Shadow Sword, looking to move on to Kahlua or Flawless. Turns on to the support right now, but it's still not enough damage as he parkours over the wall once again. Amy now being attacked by Doinby, who dodged out of the fight. Yuki off to the side, still trying to assassinate, but he jumps in far too many times, and Flawless will shake it off. He looks for another kill. 2 to Rogue Warriors.
I mean, Yuki plays the fight as best he can. Doinby and Jinu are going to go at it.
Oh!
It just smashes his health bar. So they're going to go back towards the Baron area. Triumph going to help Doinby with his health bar a lot. And Rogue Warriors, they're all alive as the dust settles in that fight. They just clean house right now.
Yeah, ultimately 3 kills in the end there to Rogue Warriors, and to be honest, I don't know if Doinby knew he was going to win, because he was starting to like back away, hesitate, then realized that Jinu was ranged, turned onto him, and just decked him.
Oh no, Doinby was always going to win that one, believe me.
I agree. I just don't know if Doinby knew that, because from his positioning, he was like trying to back away.
Yeah, maybe. Of course, we might get a chance to see that. Now, Yuki was someone that we highlighted at the start of this fight. I actually think that he played it well. Shockwave hits multiple members. So that's a nice start to the fight, but because it doesn't do damage yet, it's not a game changer. Yuki chooses to go on Rakan as Flawless uses stopwatch, so just assumed it was going to be on him, and that was almost the outplay, like almost the opportunity to parkour his way around 3 low health targets reasonably so, but he's never going to get the kills. This is the point where an AP cannon may have helped them, but the AD cannon being their win condition means that team fights not as easy to navigate.
Yeah, unfortunate. Still managed to do a lot of damage in that last fight, along with the Talon and the Orianna. A lot of that I have to feel was on the initial Shockwave dissonance.
And this is one of those things where you'll look at the damage dealt, and I feel like it's disingenuous to what actually happened in the team fight. He's hitting health stacked tanks in front of him, so he'll deal a lot of damage, but firstly, Swain heals that back up. Secondly, Doinby heals that back up, and what does his damage actually mean in the end? Was not a lot.
Yeah.
But he did a lot.
Not to finish them off, of course, and that's really what's got to be, because, you know, he can be part of that, right? He can start weakening targets so others can finish, but that's not what happened in that fight. Oh, nice Phantom Barrel coming in there onto PY out. Bottom lane tower wall fours. Yuki is again looking for the assassinate off to the side, but it's in fact him who's getting assassinated by Flawless.
Everything dying at the same time here from LGD. Mid lane and bottom lane being pressured, and can they really turn and engage is yet to be seen, and I highly doubt it given that Yuki is zoned out of his own base.
I'd like to go back to my base, but I would like to try and defend with my team. Yuki is actually parkouring from the bottom to the top side of the map, and still being chased by Flawless. As Doinby and Rogue Warriors took 2 inhibs off of that.
Yeah, 2 inhibs taken. Flawless.
Oh, he's still hunting.
Yeah, he's got his blue buff at the end, but he was definitely hunting himself a talent, just assumed he would be at the blue buff. Confidently looking towards those fights is the 207 no stopwatch.
Yeah. Yeah, 207, level 15 into level, I think that's 16, right? On Yuki, I can't see from here.
Yuki 15.
15, yeah.
15 apiece.
15, but he's an AD assassin. Into a Banshee's Veil building. The fact that Flawless is doing that, like, this guy's so competent.
The confidence is definitely noticed. That much is certain. The 2 inhibs also went down during all of that time. Rogue Warriors, 1 left remaining. Also, with 45 seconds on the Baron buff and everyone recalling, Flawless chooses to stay in the top lane. No reason to recall. Keep the Baron buff there to keep the minions alive and make this push happen all the faster.
Kahlua chasing through. Oh, finds the lead as well. Still gets the charm down. Doinby pushes into the tower. PYL was still stuck in enemy territory. Doinby taking a lot of damage, will go down into that one. Oh, big shockwave coming through onto 3, but the damage isn't there behind it. And Doinby is back up once again, looking for more. Still has the dominance running, but they are good for now. He's going to get a bit of healing off the backside of that. And Rogue Warriors move to the top lane tower.
15 seconds left on that Baron. They're going to try and use it maybe to get this turret in the top side. If they break it, the inhib is theirs. But they're missing a lot of health now. Still be enough.
And kick the television a second. Oh, building a wall once again. We'll split up the team. Amy and Yuki don't really have a way over. Oh, find a flick onto Jinu, and there's no one to come on this one. Finds a knock-up, and Kahlua will drop on the way out, but Doinby, he's into the back line. He's found access. Amy gets dragged in once again, and Doinby, he's going to go all the way in. End up dying in the end of that one, and this is a bit of a mess right now. I actually can't see what's happening, but SMLZ is pushing in again, finding another couple kills, and it will look towards the Nexus turrets. This should be it. PYL pushing forward with all he has, but he is but a catfish.
Yuki could clutch this one out. I don't know if Rogue Warriors can end just yet. Flawless is the man you have to look at. There they got it.
Yeah. There are too many minions in this base. Yuki was staring down the barrel and he's thinking there's a possibility for me to do it. Goes into the Shadow Sword looking for a kill onto Mouse, and he will get it in the end. But the game is over. Below half an hour, and Rogue Warriors will take game 1.
The Rogue Warriors, they get an early lead, they get a sniff, they're able to just completely close out the game, shut out their opponents and give them no avenues of entry to come back into that one. LGD, the win streak, 3 sets in a row now in jeopardy, with Rogue Warriors looking clean as a whistle and smashing them through that first game.
Yep, it definitely was a smashing victory to Rogue Warriors. And we said it was a maybe here today for LGD. But a maybe is still pretty good. If you're looking at, 20-30% chance against a team like Rogue Warriors, then you're doing something right, LGD.
There are many different kinds of maybes though, Pulse. There are certain people that say maybe and you just know it means no.
Yeah, that's true.
This is one of those matchups where maybe it feels that way.
Yeah, I feel like that's, parents and teachers who say that. And funny enough, next to me, I have an ex-teacher.
I often mean no when I say maybe, yes. Yeah. You're not wrong in that case.
Yeah.
29-minute victory here. Rogue Warriors.
Damage from Rogue Warriors, look at them.
Yeah, smashed him. Even Doinby, I felt like through the most of that game, didn't do the craziest amount of work. I would never say he was the hard carry to find through that, but did his role, and his role was all that was necessary. That is control the talent, control the mid lane, and pressure to bring Kahlua forwards, and then made plays and they counterplayed it, and they just smashed LGD through the counterplays.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, there was a couple nice things coming out from LGD. I felt like if Y4 maybe hadn't, we'll call that one a nano int. I don't think it was like a massive int at the start of the game, but ends up just walking face first into the enemy turret after it's charged up. Like, that was a problem. That also just allowed bottom lane to be in a great place. Like, maybe the flank coming in from SMLZ wasn't going to be as impactful. Maybe Kahlua wasn't unlocked at that stage. A lot of maybes coming through, and those aren't ifs or no's. Those are just like things that could have been possible for LGD coming into that game.
And LGD making plays if they were on equal footing opposed to being behind, things may have been different to say the least, but they got smashed early, so that's the way it goes.
Yeah, but this is still a best of 3 series, so there's still a chance for LGD to come back in this one. For now though, we're going to send it back to the analyst desk.
Thanks guys, and it was a one-sided affair in game 1. Clement, how's that optimism about LGD being
where are my boys?
Great on a fantastic winning streak. How they going so far?
They're not doing so hot. No. I have to be honest. If you're an assassin player, running against Doinby in the mid lane is probably your worst nightmare. Because he has all the answers to it. You're never going to out-pressure a bruiser like that in lane. And once again, with the new pick into the mid lane, he just smashed Yuki just like he did on with Icon as well. You play a bruiser, you out-push him, you get the team out early. There's not much the bruiser can do.
Yep, goes towards the Renekton in the mid lane, picks up Smite as well. Able to take it to the Talon, who never really was unlocked during the laning phase. Was constantly kept in that lane itself. Renekton was able to lock him down, and Yuki was one of the key people we looked towards, paired up with his jungler Amy, to be big factors on how LGD are meant to take down Rogue Warriors, and that never happened.
And Amy and Yuki, I don't feel like they did really anything, especially Amy. The Trundle pick, there were 0 ganks coming in from the Trundle. It was all flawless all the time. And you could see most of the time when Talon was trying to roam elsewhere on the map and create that chaos for LGD that they need to bring Rogue Warriors down, the Trundle actually just sat mid lane and wave cleared against the Renekton. Like, they have to fix that dynamic somehow, and I think the way you do it is by going on the red side, saying that, you know what, maybe blind picking Assassin is never going to work against Doinby. We have to get that side selection in check just so that Yuki can do his work.
Still very scary if that's the only way you're going to try and take down these teams is you have to get your side selection, because eventually you're going to have to play on a weak side, which we saw from LGD there. But one thing Rogue Warriors did very well was keep LGD exactly where they wanted them to. We talked about making sure Talon was stuck in the mid lane and Amy had to shadow him, but it also happened during team fights. We saw a few very early skirmishes, especially the one where SMLZ was able to perform well on Swain, where this is what Rogue Warriors want. They want LGD grouped up as 5 so that Rogue Warriors can execute these team fights.
Yeah, and again, I feel like this was overextension from LGD. There was 2 members caught behind tower. Gameplank, the global ultimate, able to cut the team to pieces. 3 in the backline, and then Swain walks in unopposed. There's no CC to stop him. There's nothing to keep him out of those squishy carries, and he just pops 3 of them in one go. I think, like, this was just it was just so well done from Kahlua to start that fight off and know that all the pieces on the team were there to then coordinate that play where they could cut the team to pieces and have Swain come in at exactly the right time.
And I mean, we saw the early fights and skirmishes, especially the tower dive that came up from Whitefall very early into the match, dying immediately after he tried to go for the kill into SMLZ, affect some of the laning phase, but until that point it was fairly even between the 2 teams. Once that team fight took place, however, Rogue Warriors were able to take over the match, eventually going towards Baron, picking up a clean team fight there as well, and from there ending the game.
It's just so good to watch Rogue Warriors execute their teamfight compositions. What they're known for is running with semi-globals and then cutting up the enemy team. They're always going to fight more numbers with a numerical superiority at the start of the fight and then try to clean house the entire way. You can see Yuki doing a lot of work this fight, zoning out the entire backline, but unfortunately the backline isn't low enough where he can actually do any assassination work. And you could see the game plan for them failing them as well. They wanted Jinyu to be a split pusher. They wanted to split the map up, give Talon those side lane assassinations. Never happened because the Flawless was able to punish that lane so hard in the early game. There was never a split pushing Kennen, and in team fights, Blade of the Ruin King just doesn't cut it.
And he picked up MVP as well. Flawless had a phenomenal match on Talia in the jungle, not only able to keep the lanes in check, but crucial in the team fights as well as the skirmishes that Rogue Warriors found during the game.
Yeah, it's pretty rare to see Flawless having such a good game. Recently, he's been looking better than compared to the start of the split. What they're putting him on are those global carries. The Nocturne and the Talia are the big ones for him. They're giving him that trust that he can make the right decisions to go in at the right moments. And I really like the fight where they cut the entire team off in the mid lane when they were trying to check Baron, the LGD catch. That was so well coordinated because it went into a Gameplank barrel, into a Rakan ultimate, and everything just exploded right there. So if Rogue Warriors can continue this rundown type of style, it's so hard for teams that can't coordinate themselves as well to get a lead.
All right, Clement. So now that Rogue Warriors have taken game 1 over LGD, and it seems like LGD going back to the same shenanigans we knew from them before they went on that 3-game win streak, are you going to stick to your guns and say that LGD can actually take this series, or have you, become a non-believer after that first match?
I said they had a chance. I didn't think they were gonna have a good chance of winning. I said they had a chance, and I can see Paul smirking right now because we did bet some things on that. We did say, we could exchange some coffees and stuff like that. But for me, LGD, they still have a possibility to win in this series, and I think what they do is first they just give Amy something that can contribute in the early game and try to get a counter pick for Yuki in the mid lane.
And they need to try and find that counter pick because Yuki was locked down by Doinby in that first match. But it was only the first game of a best of 3. Let's go into a break. We'll be back with game 2 in just a bit.
登峰造极，方可声名远扬；侠盗勇士自在威震四方。